A very good afternoon. Thanks for clicking on to Vogan's European Outlook. It's Sunday, the 28th of November, and actually, I'm pretty pleased with the way things have turned out. The projections was way back, even in October, about the likelihood. I believe that there would be a good chance that we would see a flip around taking place. Of course, we've seen spells of very, very mild weather through a large swathe of November. But as expected, we did see that significant flip around to colder weather. So, of course, Storm Arwen produced a wind gust in Northumberland of 98 miles per hour. There was significant damage caused across many portions of Scotland and parts of England. We've seen snow down into East Anglia. So the models have been very good in terms of predicting the wind as well as the snow, and we're seeing that ongoing through the course of today. However, next 24 hours we're going to see milder conditions moving in from the Atlantic as expected. So as stated now a couple of times, we are seeing a brief spell, a short-lived spell of cold, and milder conditions will move in. However, that being said, it looks as if we're going to reintroduce colder weather during the upcoming week. But snowfall hemisphere wide is ahead of schedule. Remember that we're still in November. We're still not even into winter proper yet. And we've seen snowfall, and of course we've seen sub-freezing temperatures. Some spots in the UK today struggling to get really much above freezing, and I'll get to Scandinavia in just a second. But we've seen some really outstanding temperatures across northern portions of Scandinavia in the last few nights. But you can see here, this is the hemisphere. Unfortunately, Europe is kind of tilted to the left, but much of Scandinavia is snow covered. We've got parts of Scotland and England, as well as parts of Wales, covered in snow. Pretty much the entire landmass of the northern landmass of Asia and Europe is now covered in snow as well. So that's allowing the temperatures to really come down. Even across much of Canada, we're well ahead of schedule as well, with most of Canada snow covered now, as well as parts of the northeastern United States. So it certainly has been interesting, that's for sure. Temperature wise, the current temperatures are, as it stands, 0 at Loch Lascarnoch. We've got 0.9 at Aviemore, 1 degree at Aboyne. We've got also even temperatures of only 4 degrees in Glasgow, several parts of England as well, including Leek Thorncliffe at minus 0.8. So a very, very chilly afternoon indeed, helped also by, of course, the reflectivity of snow cover as well. And we're going to see the temperatures under clear skies and light winds coming down significantly tonight. Once again, before much, much milder conditions moving in. We're going to see a very different temperature profile on what would it be on Tuesday morning, as opposed to this morning and yesterday morning, where it was well below freezing. Could even be starting the day close to double figures in parts, as well as that milder conditions coming in. Of course, the reason why, like I've said, the high to the west over the Atlantic that allowed Storm Arwen to take a dive south, taking that unusual track southwards. That high is drifting south as well, and we're seeing weather from the Atlantic basically coming over the top of that high. So that high moving south opens the door to the west, of course. Scandinavia, we've got afternoon temperatures still in the minus 30s across parts of Norway, Sweden, and Finland here. And if we take a closer look at this now, bear in mind that there was a place which I'm not going to attempt to pronounce, dropped to minus 37 Celsius this morning. Now, I've seen a couple of reports, one being coldest November temperature for Sweden since 1952. I believe it actually is the coldest November temperature since 1980. Regardless of what the date is, it's still very, very significant cold for this early in the season. Now we've got a current temperature in a place in northern Norway. Again, not going to pronounce it, but minus 35.5 Celsius. And if we do hold on to some clear skies and light winds away up here in the Scandinavian Arctic, we could make an approach on minus 40 tonight, which is pretty remarkable. This is cold for any time of the year, never mind the start of winter. And of course, we've got a few other minus 30s, minus 32 here in northwestern portions of Sweden, minus 32, minus 30, in even parts of northern Finland as well. So really, really impressive cold for this time of the year. Now, looking at the 850 millibar temperatures, this is how it looks at the moment here. What we've got is we've got cold air that has come down from the north, flooding Western Europe with cold air, even extending into Western Poland here. Notice here the dark blues and even the purples representing temperatures a good 5 Celsius, 8 Celsius below normal, all the way into northern portions of Africa, as you can see here with this type of setup here. Now, if I play through this loop here, and of course this isn't surface anomalies here, this is 850 millibars or 5,000 feet above the ground. You notice here that we start to see that milder air coming in, and then we've got some very mild air, if you notice, that actually pushes into the British Isles during the course of Tuesday here. And like I said, we could be seeing temperatures close to double figures to start the day on Tuesday. So a dramatic change in terms of how the weather is going to feel. It's also going to be a lot cloudier and some wet weather associated with that as well. Very cold air gets shunted into eastern portions of Europe. Still holding on to that cold, if you notice, over Scandinavia. But what is interesting, folks, is as we skip through the loop, we reintroduce colder air. We've got a feature comes down. That's a cold front. That sweeps south, brings back in the Arctic air once again. And then it looks as if some significant or at least substantial colder than normal temperatures comes back into play during the second half of this upcoming work week. And it may, in fact, kind of hold on. If you notice here that as I play through, we maintain that cold feel. It kind of locks in somewhat. Notice here the purples representing even colder than normal over Scandinavia. What may happen, and this is of course a good week or so out, so we need to kind of use caution with this. But it looks as if some very cold air once again reestablishes over Scandinavia and may in fact try to kind of move in a kind of westward direction here, building high pressure over the Atlantic once again, maybe extending up into the Norwegian Sea, and may allow the cold over Scandinavia to kind of start to drift westwards. And wouldn't that be exciting to see once again more significant cold coming in from the east? So look at that there. Look at these temperatures compared to normal back over the British Isles here. And this is, of course, the 5th and the 6th of December here. So rather than jumping on board models and seeing them going back and forth, getting all excited about these beast from the east scenarios or direct discharge from the north, only to see the model flip around and bring back in super mild air from the Azores, let's just watch and see how the pattern evolves. But this is going to where I think it should be going. Seeing temperatures close to minus 40 in November in parts of northern Scandinavia. We're also seeing Nome in Alaska, some of the coldest temperatures there for this stage in the season since the 1990s. And I think all this is telling us that as the cold is becoming stronger, we're ahead of schedule in terms of hemispheric snow cover. The potential is there. The potential is there for something significant as we go forward. Do I think that we're going to see some significant cold in December? Yes, I do. Do I think we could make an attempt at having the first widespread white Christmas? Dare I even say that? This year, the first really since 2010. That is also on the table here, folks. The potential is there. The easterly QPO is becoming better established. We've got the best sea surface temperature profile in a long time in terms of supporting blocking. So there is all the things, all the factors on the table here now, and we're seeing the extreme cold. We're seeing the potential the atmosphere has at producing some significant major cold. And I think it would be mind-boggling, and it still can happen, that it just doesn't materialize. I just believe we're going to something with all that I'm seeing so far here. So it's going to be interesting to see as we go forward exactly what we're going to see. Now, looking very briefly here, because I've babbled on enough, I think, looking at the GFS ensemble, which of course is not your operational one-off run. It's of course the ensemble run, which is all the models kind of combined into one run here. Now, watch what happens here as we go forward. Now, we've got the North Atlantic block at the moment here. Then it kind of collapses to the south, allows weather to run over the top of it. But notice here, as we go forward here, we get a fresh poking of high pressure from a North Atlantic extending up into Greenland, allowing the pattern to kind of almost turn back on itself once again, with Scandinavia filling with cold air, and then we see that cold air getting drifted west southwestwards with that area of high pressure running over the top. So it's there's a lot of things to play for, folks. Exciting weather to come. I'm pretty convinced of that. And again, trying to stay with my feet on the ground, not hyping things up and not getting too carried away here. But certainly I like what I'm seeing with regards to the weather as we go forward. That's it for today. Hope you have a great rest of your evening, and I'll be back as always in the next couple of days with more. Please, of course, hit the like button and the subscribe button. Bye bye.